We'll see people roll in. But good morning. It's been a while since we did a live stream. I heard it was chaos last week, but it is what it is. I've been listening to these deep work music for the last, like, I don't know, 10 minutes. It's pretty good. I quite like it. But let's go through some charts. Oh, before we do the charts, let's go look at where the dealers are first and foremost. And then we can decide what we want to do. So decent volume on the 7160 strike. 7170 was exposed earlier, but it's now come down a little bit. We might get pinned. It is FOMC week. We have earnings this week. I do like weeklies for some stocks and some assets. I posted them in the Discord. If people are curious to see what I'm thinking about right now, it's really loading up on these leaps. I'll get some poet starters. I might get the 10 or 12 instead of the 15, but TBD. QQQ, I've already set a limit buy for this. SNDK, I've already set a limit buy for this. And then Microsoft and NVIDIA, they've been filled already. But I want to add to this Microsoft position today, knowing that they're slowly going away with their OpenAI ties. I think OpenAI won't be able to pay the bills, so I like that they're doing that. That also affects Oracle. Oracle, Microsoft. Somewhat to an extent, NVIDIA are partnered up with OpenAI. It's kind of like a big circle jerk. But let's see where they want to go with it. But I do like leaps on Microsoft, and I'm starting this position on NVIDIA. And I'll show you the reason why I'm starting the position on NVIDIA for July and June. But this is kind of what I've got going on. These are still pretty like light positions. I'm not getting more than like 10, 20 contracts on all of these. But I want to be sure that I can go size up when the opportunity presents itself if we get a pullback. I don't know if we will or not. So that's that. Let's go through some charts. Unless someone has any questions. I don't think anyone does. But let's go through USO first, because I think that's interesting. Oh, did someone have a question? Nope, it's Alex. Alex, I'm muting you. Okay, let's go through USO first, because I think this is setting up higher highs and higher lows. This to me looks like it's a good hedge for any macro events that happen. And it's much cheaper of a hedge, and it works better than the VIX does right now, or UVIX, however you want to describe it. It's like we had this trend line going from this low on April 17th. And we had this trend line going from the low on April 8th. And we've clearly broken out of both of these. So it did go down a little bit based on what we're thinking, but now I'm seeing like the inverse pattern play out. This is like an inverse head and shoulder. So I do think it's going to consolidate a little bit and maybe make go back to 138, 140 area before it kind of drops back down. So I don't know what's going to happen. I do think oil is going to stay higher for longer. And whether that means we take some hedges on USO for calls or not, I have no clue. But it is rejecting that 134 area. So let it come back down maybe around 131. And I'd be interested in getting some USO calls for weeklies. Likely the 135 strike, just because I think that's a good target for the time being. And again, the USO calls are more of a hedge. And the reason I'm thinking that these are more of a hedge is I've tried the SPX hedges, the 7100, for example. It's down 90%. I've already sold the call that I had on Friday for the 7200. I have some runners on my main account, but nothing too crazy. And I don't know where we're going to get pinned today. So I do think it's going to be light on volume today and tomorrow. Maybe we get some suspicious strikes that get hit up, but you know, it is earnings week, it is FOMC, so I do think today and tomorrow will be muted for the time being. I really like how Poet's setting up. It's coming back into the discount range. I was hoping it would come back down here anyways, but I'm getting that today instead of like a week out from now. So I'm looking at getting some calls for the $12 strike, maybe even the $10 strike if it's cheaper, because I do think it has room to run. And if you look at it on a daily, it's gone up like quite a few percentage. This is like almost a 10x move here. If I measure the bottom to the high, this is like a 300% move. So, you know, just knowing that where we are right now, it's pretty overextended. Let's see where we open up today. And then I want to get some calls either for weeklies, or I might do some long-term plays on Poet. Tesla, a lot of accumulation. I do suspect some news is going to come out eventually. I just don't know when. But Friday was accumulation. Thursday was accumulation. Friday was accumulation. Today might be the same thing. You're pinned between 378 and 372. Let's see what it wants to do. If it clears above 376, you're likely going to go towards 408. So I'm just waiting to see if we get a close above this on the 4 hour at least. 15 minutes, we've had a couple of closures above it, but it has not lasted too long. So this might just need a bit more time. If you are interested in Tesla Leaps, they do look pretty good. The Tesla Leaps that I like are the 460s if you want to get those, because that puts me right into that bucket that I had, which is, I think, what kicked off this downtrend here. So I do think this is a good risk and reward. If you want to give it some time, maybe till the end of the year, early next year, it might be worth playing if you are keen on Tesla. Let's go through QQQ, and then we'll go through IWM. QQQ, the option market is pricing in a move towards 675 on Qs, which is insane considering like last year we were at 480. But I do like the weeklies on QQQs because I think earnings will be pretty good. And if they're not, then I'm only at like $475 per contract on the 670, or not even $400. I think it's like $300, $280 on the 675 strike for weekly. So that's what I'm looking at there. It is setting up higher highs, higher lows. Maybe it rejects here, comes back down because you have a head and shoulder pattern. Maybe it comes back down towards 658. And if that holds, which is also in the middle of this displacement, then you're likely to go up and carve out another new high there. So I do think all dips are getting bought and have zero reason to be bearish except for getting put as hedges or USO calls as hedges. So that's what I'm seeing on QQQ. And it's a similar story on SPYs. Today is setting up higher highs, higher lows. Maybe comes back down towards this displacement at 712. Maybe even lower than that at 711.23. And if that doesn't hold, you're likely going to come back down towards 708.50 is really the next target that I got if we continue the downtrend. But I do think buyers will step in either here or most likely here. And then we'll look at buying some calls. So I'm only interested in playing the reversal today because I think there's not going to be much volatility. There's not a lot of volume, at least pre-market, that I can gather. And dealer exposure still is towards the upside, or was towards the upside. Let's see if they want to do that move forward or not. I do like the 7150s, maybe the 7160s, depending on how expensive they are. But I want to see the volume pick up before I do anything. So that's kind of where my mind is. So we did SPY, we did QQQ. Let's go look at IWM because I know some of you like to play that. This does not look as clean as the other ones, but we had a lot of accumulation Thursday. We had a lot of accumulation Friday. I just needed to break out, either go above and close above 278 before I get some more calls, especially like if I want to do June, July calls. And then IWM, if it breaks down below 274.80, then I'd be looking at swinging puts on those. But this does not look as clean. This is more accumulation compared to what you saw in SPY and QQQ. So that's where my mind is on these. We went over USO, QQQ, IWM, Tesla, SPY, Poet. Any other charts people want me to look at? Oh, let's go look at NVIDIA because I do want to set up a position here. This looks like it's breaking out to me. So if I look at it on the daily, we've been in this accumulation pattern since, what was this, August last year. So since August, we've been accumulating. This is finally broken out on the daily. So I do like how this is setting up. And I do think you're likely to go towards 240, maybe even 250 by the end of May. That's why I'm taking those July 250 calls. So that's where my mind is. This looks like a textbook breakout to me. Let's see if we can get the volume to follow through. Let's go open up the volume chart there and see what it's looking like. Volume, there it is. You had the highest volume since April 17th, and before then it was basically like at all-time highs, which was around here at February 2026. So comparable volume to all-time highs and a couple weeks ago, but I do think this is setting up for higher highs and higher lows. We've finally broken out of the accumulation zone that I was calling out for the last couple of weeks. So I do like how this is setting up personally, but you should do what you're comfortable with. This is a textbook breakout to me. Maybe it does a retrace down here to the middle of this range and then kind of goes back up. But that's what I like there on NVIDIA. That's why I'm taking those 250 calls for July. I also like the Intel chart. I think some of us are in the 100 call leaps for the end of this year or maybe January 2027. I really hope to sell it off so I can buy more. I do think it's going to come back down towards this area at 72 before using that as a base and maybe consolidating for a couple of weeks, couple of days before it goes higher towards 100. So I'm looking to add over the position that I have for Intel 100Cs. And I'll send an alert when I add them in. Apple, I don't know why it's dumping. I was looking at this pre-market. I have zero idea why, but this is that area that I've marked off where we've rejected for multiple times, 273.39. This is your double bottom, maybe even triple bottom if you want to count this. So let's just draw a line there. But I do think this area will hold, and I'll be looking at getting Apple calls for Wednesday or Friday. Let them do the undercut. Let them come back towards 266.22. And then we can get calls for Friday for 273 because it's been basically going from this range to that range from here, then back down here, right? I've seen this time and time again for the last couple of weeks. But it is setting up higher highs and higher lows. If I look at it on the 4 hour, looks pretty bullish to me. This is just accumulation, double bottomed. And then what happened? We just started making higher highs and higher lows, right? So it is a bit of a grind. It is a bit of a slow mover, but it does look good to me for a move towards 273 by the end of the week if anyone wants to get those calls. And they are pretty cheap. If I look at my broker, let's go see. Apple calls. Apple calls. They are pretty inexpensive at May 1st. The 272.5s or 270s even. Whenever these open up, we also have implied volatility increase because of earnings. But I do think this will drop by 50% at open. So if you want to get the 272.50s or even the 270s at like $400, $300, whatever that is, then it might be worthwhile. Hoagie says, do you want to get the 275 for 515? Yeah, those look pretty good. Even the 280s, like they have a lot of open interest and a lot of volume. So I do think between the 280s and 285s, one of these are pretty good bang for your buck at $395. So that's what I'm looking at. Let them dump everything. I don't really care. They'll make everything that we want to buy much cheaper. And this is not really that big of a dump, honestly. Like, this is nothing. This is like chump change. That's not even a percent. That's like 1.2%, right? Compared to like this measured move, if I go measure this out from this bottom here to the top, like that's 3.9%, right? So let it retrace back down. I do think it's going to come back to the middle of this range. Maybe ideally it comes back down to 204, and then I can add more to that starter position that I have, but it is what it is. Let them sell it off. Let them do the manipulation. If I was a market maker, I would set up a bear trap today because we got a bull trap on Friday. 7150, a lot of volume, 6 bill. 7160, 3.6, and then 7300. I don't know what idiot's buying 7300 here, but almost $1 billion there. 7130 looks to be the floor. This might also be support, but let it come back down. We'll play the reversal. We'll probably get some calls. George is saying get some puts, write it open. I don't really want to do that because I'd rather just play 1 or 2 trades today and just sit the hell out. Because I don't think there's going to be much that's happening here when it comes to dealer positioning and the volume that we might get or not get because it's FOMC. We've got earnings this week, and we'll see where that ends up. I do like SanDisk if anyone wants to play them. They are expensive, but if you want to get like the leverage ETFs, again, that's setting up higher highs, higher lows. Call walls at 1050, I believe. And I do think you're going to break through that after earnings, but the contracts are juiced because of that. I got the 1100 strike for Friday. Let's see if that does anything. Worst case, I'm out $4,000. So that's what I'm looking at there. Any other charts people want me to look at? Tesla's the most suspicious one. I don't like playing that right now because it's accumulating. BST. Let's go look at BST and I'll look at Palantir after. I'd be hesitant to buy this here. You got like a head and shoulder pattern coming up. This is also rejecting that same area that we've had multiple times. Let it come back down, cool off a little bit before getting some calls. This is an order block at 161. If it hits that, I'd be looking to get a lot of calls. Palantir looks pretty good for a move up. If I just draw a line here, if this area holds, which I think it will, I'd like it to go towards 146, maybe even like 150 by the end of May. That's what I'm looking at there. Let them do the dump. One thing I like doing is just watching the opening print and seeing how the puts are moving. So if the 140s start dropping in value, which I think they will eventually, you're likely going to move up pretty quickly towards 7160, 7170 maybe is kind of what I'm looking at there. We'll let them do the bear trap, and then we'll see what George gives us on the exposure page. Market tide is pretty bullish though. There's a lot more call buying than there's more dip buying rather than there's put buying. So it might just go with that, us honestly. Let them sell it off. Let them come back towards this displacement, maybe even lower than that, and then we'll get some calls. But the 7170s, they look pretty good to me. I'm trying to see if I can get the 7170s at like $700. Wow, look at that volume. That's insane. I was not expecting that. I have zero interest in chasing anything. Just trying to see what George is telling me. He's saying this is suspicious. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Oh, people are curious about what I'm seeing on George. This is what I'm looking at. Not a lot of volume. People are buying puts though. I don't know why, but they are buying puts. Okay, this is your triple top at this point in time, so let's see what happens. There goes Palantir. Let the US will come back down, and then we'll get some calls. I might get a 7150 put at like 800 if I can get it. Maybe the 40s are better risk and reward. I don't know. I might just do this instead. I'm gonna try and get like a 20-30% gain if I can, and then just calling it a day. I don't have to do a whole lot. Okay, this is up 5%. If you want to take the win, you got Phil, take the win. Oh yeah, let's go look at Poet while I'm here. I'm gonna get the 11s instead. Maybe I'll give it some time. Not a lot of volume though. 12 Cs for 15th is pretty good. 15 Cs is actually even better. Might get 2 of these. Where did I get the 15s? Yes. Let me go set that up. Oh, I should put the date. 5/15. This is suspicious as hell. I don't know if this is going to break over or not. If it does, I'll close the puts, but I don't think it will. I have a hard time believing that this is going to break above 715 where your call wall is on SPY and above 7170 right now. I don't think they have liquidity to get up there. A lot of volume downside compared to upside. can get like 10, 20, 30%, oh, it's up 10%. Nice. If I get like 20, 30%, I'm going to be out, and I'm looking at getting the 7165s, maybe the 7070s, 7170s, but let's see where that goes. Netflix dump. Let's go look at Netflix. Yeah, setting up lower lows and lower highs. If it comes back to 90, I'd be getting some leaps or getting some calls, because this is that bottom. This is that bottom that started off that entire uptrend. So I like how that's setting up. ASTS, they're selling ASTS and Rocket Lab. I don't know. They're selling up all. They're selling all the space names. If I look at Sats, which owns SpaceX, they sold everything. Let it bottom out, and we'll find some things to play. Somebody just slapped $2 billion on 7185s. That's insane. 6,700. No way. And Egg is right. Put premiums are holding pretty well, all things considered. Market's not even been open for 10 minutes. Relax, y'all. Relax. I'm tired. This isn't down enough for me to add more. If it was down like 25, 30%, I'll get more, but there's really no point. If it breaks above and if it closes above 71.66, I'll close the puts. And then I'll get the 71.80s probably. Palantir's gone. And NVIDIA, I like this candle, but I think this is a trap. I'm pretty sure it's a trap. I'm 90% confident that that's a trap. SPY 2 hours. Let's go see what that looks like. I can't remember what this pattern is called. Dragonfly. Like it's decision point. Either it's going to go up or come back down. And the down move is going to be really hard. Really hard. Sorry, the Boston accent came out because I was there last week. Really hard. Wow, we got a lot of people in the voice chat. That's insane. XLF. I did see some flows going into this. I don't know why, but we did see a lot of like money moving towards this, like billions of dollars. This is looking like it's going to break out. If you want to get some XLF calls for like end of May for the 53 strike, that could be worth it, but I don't know if it's worth chasing here, to be honest. It's having a really hard time getting to 715. This is having a really hard time closing above 71.70. Yeah, comments probably work. They're at a discount compared to where they were a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I like it. Again, if this closes above, I'm going to cut the puts and get the 71, 75s, maybe the 80s instead. These premiums aren't really doing much, so looks like we're just stuck. Let Microsoft dump. I'll get some leaps on this. Although this doesn't look that dumpy. Honestly, it just came back to the middle of this displacement and held it. So probably does move up eventually. I just don't know when. Yeah, Google calls will probably print because they have earnings this week. Puts are green if you want to take the win. Take the win. We'll watch till 10 and then we'll see what we want to do. I do think it's going to reverse at 10. Or basically whenever I go make a coffee, it'll reverse and I'll be like, oh shit, missed it. It's happening every single time. Nice rejection on SPX. Look at that. Wow, they're straight up just chopping here. Okay, 10. Take the win. Okay, 15. $20. All right, take the win, y'all. It's going to be a slow day, isn't it? It's going to be a slow day. All right. I'm going to sell one. And then I'll see if I want to add to it again. Oh, I just filled. What the hell? Oh, it's at $800. Damn, 30%. Oh, fuck. Sold it too early. Whatever. I'm just going to sell the last one. I don't really care. I'll wait for this to bottom out at some point in time and I'll get some calls. All out. Oops. We'll wait for the reversal. Either add more puts or take calls. Fuck. Sold it too early. This happens every time I sell it and it just like pumps. Ah, oh, fuck it. I'll just buy 2 of these. Bit of a chase, but whatever. Whoa, the premiums just jumped like this skyrocketed. What the hell just happened? That's more of a lot. I don't even want to alert that because like that's just me protecting myself from downside. Let me see if I can get the 7170s at like 580 maybe $500, and then I'll play those instead. I'm just watching the premiums here, nothing else. I'm just watching this. What I usually like to do is just have the order book open and just seeing if people are buying or selling. Set the limit buy for 7170C at 500 at here. I'm gonna get like 3 of these. And I wonder if my poet order filled. I don't know if it did. Oh, I did. Nice. Amazing. Look at that. My order will fill. Of course, I sold the 7140 too early. They're hitting $1,000. Ah, I'm so angry at myself. Whatever, I don't really care. 7170s, fill 5. Come on. Although this displacement's holding, so maybe it goes up. It's right in the middle of that, so let's see if they do the undercut, and then I'll get out of all puts and then get some more calls. Bit of a chase on that one, but again, more downside protection for me. So let's see what the institutions are doing. Oh, the volume dried up. Okay, well, can't do much. Back later out here. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream. We'll get some volume as it happens every single time I end the stream, and just we get like a pop one side or the other. So I'll post some alerts in the SPX channel if I see something, but you should be green if you took those puts. See y'all later.